Okay guys, this video has a lot of information and I hope I can present it in a way that makes sense. This is one of my favorite topics in groove and rhythm stuff. I want to continue with a rhythm that we have used in a tutorial before, and it was this one. Okay, it's a 6/8 Clave, and I have explained it in detail in the previous tutorials. So if you want, maybe it helps to check that out first. It is really helpful to know the rhythm well. But it's still on the board here, so we can also review it quickly. Up here is the music notation, and down here is the rhythm explained as a triplet rhythm in a 4/4 time. So I have 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2, etc. Triplets in 4/4 time as the basic grid, and the orange marks show where the rhythm is placed on that grid. So I have 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. Again, if you don't feel familiar with this, I suggest you go back to the previous tutorial. And I need to be theoretical for a minute now and look at this rhythm in more detail. The special quality of this rhythm is that I could also interpret it differently and think of the first 3 claps as the beat. The way it's written here, it's a pretty fancy offbeat phrase, right? It's placed in an intricate way over the triplet grid, but the first 3 claps have the same distance to each other, and it would be really easy to think of this as the grid. Right? So let's see if this could make sense through the rest of the rhythm. If I continue with my little graphic model here where I draw the beats as full blue dots, I'm placing those dots under those orange claps, and now there's only room for one offbeat in between because I have to mind the same amount of subdivisions so that things don't get totally out of control. And then if I just keep going with this pattern of beat and offbeat, I'll have a beat here, an offbeat here, etc., etc. And luckily, it also works out, it also makes sense that I can place those orange positions, those claps, over a grid of what is now 8 notes. We don't have triplets anymore. We have 8 notes, beat, offbeat, subdivided in 2. However, while we had 4 beats up here, it was a 4/4 time, we now have 6 of those blue dots down here, and that makes 6 beats. So we could think of this as a 6/4 time, or we could also think of it as 2 bars of 3 beats per bar, which may be a little bit more conventional, a little bit more frequent. So that's what I'm going to call it now, 3/4 time. And if I wanted to write the way to count it, well, if it's in 3/4 time, I need to add a bar line to be really precise. And I would count it like this. It will be 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and Okay? So, just to be really clear, I'm placing the claps, which are marked by the orange thing, in the same positions as above. If I think of this horizontal axis as the timeline, these claps happen at the exact same moments, but what is changing is my way to perceive them. It's the beat is not placed like it was here, but it's placed where the blue circles are down here. Let's see what this would feel like in actual life. Okay, so first of all, I have to establish this grid now. I have a 3/4 bar, so I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then I subdivide the beat into 8th notes, so I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, etc., etc. And then over this grid, I'm placing the claps 3 times right on the beat, quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, then 1 on the offbeat, and then I stay in the offbeat, until I come back to the 1 in the next bar. Okay? So I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And of course, if I am familiar with this feeling, I can also repeat it and play it endlessly, like we've done before. Okay? If I had presented you this rhythm just like that, it would have been an easy rhythm. The trick now is to switch back and forth between those two perspectives and to even just verify if it's truly the same thing, because it feels so different from the inside that if I just practice this down here, thinking of it as a 3/4 time, and then I switch to this up here, I may not even recognize that the claps are the same rhythm. It sounds so different, it feels so different, that it's actually a matter of training to just even recognize that it's the same thing. So it should be possible, if all of what I'm saying is true, that I could just keep clapping this rhythm, but change the walking of the beat now. And this is very unusual. So far, we've always assumed that the beat stays the same throughout a piece of music, and that also the subdivision stay the same, and that provides a grid, and everything is placed on top of this grid. Now we're doing it differently. Now we're keeping a pretty complicated rhythm, and we keep that rhythm to stay the same, but we change our own way to think of it, and we change the perspective so the beats change. Okay? Let's see what that means. If I do it in the system up here, and I'm thinking of triplets, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I want to try to think of this as a 3/4 time. Try and switch back and forth between 4/4 time and 3/4 time, triplet feel and eighth note feel. Okay. This takes a lot of time to practice. If you are new to this, unless you are a musical genius, it'll take a lot of time. And it also, you can only know for yourself if you're actually truly feeling the new beat internally or if you're sort of faking it. And being able to fake it is already a great accomplishment, you know, and it's already really cool. But you will feel for yourself if you're able to also switch the counting 1, 2, 3, or 1 to 4, right? So also, it's really hard to notice if we're keeping a steady tempo with the claps, or if we are not like shaking so much that we feel great about everything, but we're really sounding quite messy. So it's really helpful in this case to have somebody play this rhythm consistently, and then we can practice the change of time. And in my case, I have my best friend here, the loop program in my computer, so I will play this rhythm and I will try to jump back and forth between the one way of hearing it and the other. And maybe we can try with thinking of it as a triplet feel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and then after, say, 4 repetitions, change to the eighth note feel, and then go back and forth. Let's see if that can be successful. So, here's our rhythm. Okay, I had a little problem there. I was trying to go into halftime instead, and yeah, it's a lot of things going on inside, and I assume you will also feel it when you practice. I will also provide this little audio recording on the website, so you have something to practice this with if you want to. And I want to finish with just one more theoretical remark, music theory remark, and that is, we have understood now, I hope, that there's two entirely different perspectives to see and hear that same rhythm. And this can be a great quality. It can create beautiful rhythms, beautiful play of tension and suspense and release. To jump back and forth between those two ways of hearing it. And if somebody, as a composer, wants to indicate that we as tap dancers or musicians should use this option to create misunderstandings, they will avoid calling it 4/4 time or 3/4 time. This up here is clearly written in 4/4 time. And this down here is clearly written in 3/4 time. That's how we studied it right now. But to indicate that we want the misunderstandings and that we want to play with it, a composer would avoid this notation and instead would just count all the subdivisions, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and would call this a 12/8 bar. Rather than counting the quarter notes, which we think of as the beats, I would call this a 12/8 bar, and if I see somewhere that the top number in this denomination here can be divided by both 3 and 2, it's an alarm signal. Then I know that I'm supposed to probably use the potential that comes from thinking of this in 2 different ways. This is the case in a 12/8 bar or in a 6/8 bar. Those are basically almost identical, if I may simplify. Okay. Down here, this same thing could be called a 6/8 bar, because we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 before the next bar line. And we know it's the same rhythm, it was just a little bit different way of writing it. Okay, so this rhythmic phenomenon is obviously central to all the rhythms that are coming from an African heritage. This particular rhythm has been exported around the world and plays an important role in all the Afro-Cuban, Afro-Brazilian, Afro-Peruvian, all these rhythms. You will find the influence of this rhythmic concept, and there's a lot to discover, and I hope this could have been a good introduction. Have fun practicing.